Welcome and namaste. Today's Hatha practice will be a gentle practice. Gentle doesn't necessarily mean easy. Gentle speaks more about the way that you approach your edge and work intelligently in the posture. So come to find a nice, comfortable, stable, and supported seat. Sitting up on as much height as you need in order to be comfortable. Cross-legged is one option. You could sit with the legs extended out in front of you. Sit back on or in between your feet. But once you have established a comfortable seat, notice what it would take to make the pelvis neutral. So not overly tucking or overly tilting, but a nice neutral bowl. And balancing the weight between the left and right buttock bone. And once you feel as though the pelvis is stable and neutral, then think tall and act tall, rising up through the crown. Draw the hands together in prayer position in front of the heart, a gentle pressure, palm to palm. And as you exhale, take the base of the thumb to the base of the sternum, and on the inhale, lift the sternum from the bottom to the top. One more nice deep breath in. And as you exhale, tuck the chin, bow just the head. Taking a moment in this gesture of humility and reverence to surrender the wisdom of the brain to the wisdom of the body, to surrender the ego to the heart. Call your heart forward to guide you through your practice today with the intention of meeting yourself with compassion, patience, and respect. If you care to join me, we'll seal those intentions by joining our voices in the sweet and sacred sound of Om. Inhaling as the head floats up. Om. Blinking the eyes open and release the hands. Begin straight away. You're going to walk the hands out wide till the fingertips are barely touching the earth. Sitting tall, the tail is heavy and the heart is light. Turn the palms to face away. And as you inhale, let the arms float up. And as you exhale, reaching out as the arms float down. So every inhalation is accompanied by an outward and upward flow of energy, or prana vayu. And every exhalation is accompanied by a downward and inward flow of energy, or apana vayu. So as you inhale, let the prana lift the arms. And as you exhale, let the apana deliver the arms gently down. One more time. And the next time that you inhale, we'll take just the right arm up. Turn the left palm down toward the earth and imagine a baby elephant sitting on your right thigh. So your right buttock bone is absolutely rooted to the earth. That's where you're stretching from, and where you're stretching from is more important than where you're stretching to. So inhale and reach the fingers up, and as you exhale, lean toward the left. And inhale up, and exhale, lean. So coming in and out, nice and easy, warming up the body, giving the body an opportunity to inform you what it's capable of. And the next time that you lean over and you feel like you have a nice shape, we'll pause. Spinning the left back ribs forward, take the right shoulder back and gently push the earth away with the left hand to root that right buttock bone down even more. Not to try to force yourself into a shape you're not ready for yet, or to overwhelm the resistance of the side body. So take one more nice deep breath, sigh it out, little smile, and inhale, rise up. Exhale, reach that right arm out to come down. Inhaling to take the left arm up. Pause. Before you proceed, acknowledge that we're not the same side to side and you're not picking up where you left off. So the baby elephant sitting on the left thigh, rooting the left buttock bone down, strong foundation. Inhale to reach up and exhale to lean. Coming in and out, warming up the body, giving the body an opportunity to inform you what it's capable of. The body is always telling you the truth. The mind lies all the time, but the body tells the truth. So pay attention to what you feel, not what you think. The next time you come over, we'll pause. Gently push the earth away with the right hand. Find a long line between the left buttock bone and the fingertips. Spinning the right back ribs forward. Take the left shoulder back any amount. Nice, slow, steady, deep breath. Stay for one more. Inhale, rise up, and exhale to release. Untangle the legs and give your knees a generous massage, circling your ankles. Good, and then leaning back on your hands. And as you lean back on your hands, bend the knees and take the feet wide and find what VKS Iyengar would refer to as the 5 moons of the chest. It was a full moon last night, so I'm a bit inspired. There's 2 upper chest moons, 2 lower chest moons, and a center moon. And you want to maintain 5 full moons as you lean back. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, both knees over to the left. Inhaling up, and exhale, both knees to the right. Inhale, prana lifts the legs. Exhale, apana delivers them gently down. Back and forth, nice and easy. Again, coming in and out to warm up the body. Let the body tell you what it's capable of. And heed that. The next time that the knees go over to the right, we'll pause. Walk your hands in and make whatever arrangement necessary so that that left knee can come down. If you feel tension here and it's hovering, bring it forward. That will make it easier. But if you have mobility and openness in the hip flexors, bring the knee down. But the knee is on the earth. That's the foundation of the pose, where you're stretching from. And then the hand to the hip, and inhale, lift any amount, and exhale, lower. And inhale to lift, and exhale to lower. So back and forth, nice and easy, coming in and out. And then if it's reasonable, continuing to grow the pose by adding the arm. So the hip comes down and the hand comes to what we'll call the low left corner. Lift the hip and stretch the fingers to the upper right corner. Come in and out. Let the gaze follow the hand. Marry the movement to the breath, not the breath to the movement. There's a difference. And if your body will allow, on this side, you might take both hips up. So it takes some stability in the right wrist, strength and health in the low back. The next time you come up, whether it's one hip or both, we'll pause. Pierce the earth with the knee, pierce the sky with the fingers. Turn your heart up to the sky and breathe. Find a comfortable position for the head and neck, no stress or strain. And on the inhale, reach the arm back, and exhale to sweep the arm forward. Inhale, reaching back, and exhale, reaching forward. The biggest circle that you can comfortably manage, reaching out as if there was something to touch that's just beyond your range, all the way around. And then we'll change the direction of the circling. Keep the breathing pattern the same. Inhale as you reach back, and exhale as the arm sweeps forward. One more nice big circle, and then find that long line between the knee and the fingers, and exhale to come down. Keep your legs right where they are. Any amount, which might be none at all, take that left knee further back and tuck the right foot in. Hands on either side of the right knee. Gently turn the belly from the left to the right and face your right leg. As you inhale, extend from the pubic bone to the sternum and stretch your heart forward. Slowly coming down. You can come in and out a couple of times. The lower you come, the more you let the torso rest on that right hip, the more demand there is for release, the more flexibility that's required. So you go to your edge, support yourself however it's reasonable. And then maybe if you can come down fairly low, you might be able to rest your forehead on your stacked fist, palm, or block. Now, sustain this shape for a few breaths, so be sure that you came in slowly and notice the moment that you got to your edge and you pause there. It's easy to work hard, but it's hard to work gently. So coming into that moment when your body first resists any further movement, and spend a few breaths there. Give your body the opportunity to recognize that you aren't asking too much, and then the body will soften and you'll be able to move in a little bit deeper. That's the way to proceed into a deeper aspect of the posture, by softness, ease, gentle entry. One more nice deep breath. Sigh it out. Use the strength of the arms to press you up. Bring the left hand to meet the right hand, so both hands behind the right leg, and then slowly kneading the earth like a cat, shifting the weight side to side, turning the belly, turning the spine. Nice and easy. Coming around. Sit up as tall as you can comfortably manage, and then find a reasonable shape and pause. So the left knee piercing the earth, that's the foundation of the pose. It might take you out of the twist a bit, that's okay, but see what it would take to come down onto your forearms. And maybe you need to bring the earth to you, and the forearms could come down onto blocks or folded blankets. And then again, that shifting and swaying side to side. Exhaling onto the right forearm and inhaling onto the left. This can be small or big, however your body likes. Just let your body love what it loves. And then find a shape that's reasonable. And once again, pause. If you're on your forearms, then you may be able to, again, stack fists, lay the elbows and let the forehead come to rest on stacked fist or stacked palm. Nice, slow, steady breath, soft jaw, wide eyes. If you can come onto stacked palms with ease, try sliding the left palm away. Keeping the left armpit shining down toward the earth. So identifying your optimum shape and pause here. Stay for a few breaths, noticing the effects of a deep inhalation and the accompanying prana vayu. The inhale helps you identify areas of tension and resistance. Resistance builds as you inhale. See what it would take to bring your breath right to that area of tension. Breathe into the tightness. And then use the exhalation to soften something somewhere, to do just a little less. One more nice deep breath, sigh it out. Bringing the left hand back in if you drew that arm out. And then pressing yourself up, back up onto your forearms and hands, and don't unwind, but wind. Walk the hands further and further back to the right. Isn't it amazing how much further you can go now? Look over your right shoulder. Maybe you catch a glimpse of your back foot. And then again, maybe not. And slowly, slowly unwinding. Nice and easy. Left hand back behind you again and on an inhale. Maybe with a groan, the knees come up. Reestablish your stable shape, leaning back on the hands, 5 full moons, feet wide, knees bent. And then we'll go back and forth again with the knees. noticing as you exhale over to one side and inhale, trying to lift the knees, what it feels like to go to the side where we have yet to spend a few moments, and what it feels like to go to the side where we have already spent a few moments. And remembering that we're not the same side to side. So as the knees come to the left, next we'll pause. Walk the hands in, sit up tall, and find a position that's just right for that right knee. Maybe bring it forward to make it easier, or take it back if you're open in the hip flexor. And then hand to the hip, and any amount, inhaling to lift and exhaling to lower. So in reality, you may have very limited mobility in this direction. That's okay. Flexibility and strength come slowly, gradually with your yoga practice, but they're inevitable. They will come, but injury comes quickly. So we want to be skillful in our gentle practice, that we're not trying to force ourselves into something that we're not ready for. And then adding the arm, if that's reasonable. Again, the gaze following the hand across the sky, beginning to warm up the neck. And if your body will allow on this side, you might try coming up on lifting both hips. So no is an option in yoga, right? It's an option that no, not today, not yet, I can't do that. The next time you come up, whether it's one hip or both, we'll pause, pierce the earth with the knee, pierce the sky with the fingers, spin your heart up to the sky, maybe gaze towards your thumb, firm the buttocks and tuck the tail under. Find a comfortable neutral position for the head and neck, and inhale as you sweep the arm back, and exhale as it travels forward. Reaching out as if there was something to touch that's just beyond your reach, all the way around. Keeping the jaw soft and the breath flowing freely and easily. Changing the direction of the circling. Marrying the movement to the breath, and then find that nice long line once again between the knee and the fingers, and pause, breathe, and come on down. Keep your legs where they are. If anything, you might be able to take the right knee further back or tuck the left foot further in, and then hands on either side of the left leg. Turn the belly from the right to the left. Inhale to extend, and exhale, slowly come forward. Again, you can come in and out a couple of times, but what you want to avoid is collapsing downward. Don't let the turtle shell come to your mid-back. Come forward, leading with your heart, figuratively and literally. Turning the belly and slowly lowering the weight of the body down, noticing the moment that the hip resists, and pause there. It may be what I refer to as a soft edge. So the body resists, but then you take a couple of breaths, relax, and then you gain entry into a deeper expression. The edge will move. So wherever you find yourself, really settle down. Feel the weight of the body coming onto that left hip. Soften anything, anywhere. Use the exhalation. Bearing in mind that you're only surrendering to yourself. And always keeping in your mind that this is your practice and you're doing it for you. And you're doing it to feel good, to bring yourself into a state of health and vitality. Not to pose, not to prove anything. One more nice deep breath here. Sigh it out with a little smile. Using the strength of the arm to gently press yourself up. Keep your legs where they are. Bring the right hand back to meet the left hand, and then slowly kneading the earth, swaying, rocking, and walking the hands back behind you, any amount. Then find your optimum shape. We're always looking for optimum, never maximum. And then pause and see what it would take to come down onto your forearms. Even if you need to use a block to bring the earth to you, or if it takes you out of your twist a bit. And then again, that swaying side to side. The right knee, the foundation of the pose, piercing the earth. Turn the belly from the right to the left. And then pause. Maybe stack fists or palms. Splay the elbows and let the torso slowly come down. Assess. Assess the position that you have put yourself in and be sure that it is reasonable. The last thing we need our yoga practice to teach us is how to struggle. So notice the quality of your effort. And when necessary, do just a little less. And when necessary, do just a little more. How will you know? The jaw and the eyes are great indicators, as is the breath. The breath should be smooth and easy, flowing freely, the jaw soft, and the eyes wide. If it's coming along, you try sliding the right palm along the earth to extend the arm further and further away from the knee. We'll stay for 5 more breaths. Slow them down. If you're holding your breath, it's going to take a really long time to get 5. And if you're hyperventilating to get it over with, you need to back off or come out now. And when you've had your 5 breaths, slowly, methodically, with support from the arms, releasing. Keep the hands where they are. Don't unwind, but wind. Walk the hands further and further back toward the left. Sit up tall. And then look over your left shoulder, and maybe on this side you catch a glimpse of your back foot. And maybe not. And then very slowly, like a cat kneading the earth, no need to hurry, unwind. Good. And then the right hand back behind you, maybe with a groan, the knees come up. Yeah, and then we'll go back and forth again. Nice and easy. Good, and then pause, bringing the soles of the feet together in the bound angle pose. So again, sitting up on height can make this easier. Bringing the feet further forward can make it easier. Supporting the knees with blocks can be very comforting and helpful. No struggle. Gently press the feet together. And when you do that, you witness Newton's first law of physics, which is constantly at play in our yoga practice. Energy in one direction met with equal energy in the opposite direction. So when we press the feet together, from the knees to the ankles goes in, but from the hips to the knees goes out. So this pressure creates stretch here. So you have to be the one to determine what is the most appropriate amount of pressure to use to press the feet together, not trying to force yourself into a shape that you're not ready for yet. Meeting yourself at your edge right where you are with compassion, patience. Flexibility will come with diligent practice. One more nice deep breath. Then draw the legs together and extend the legs forward. Flex the feet strongly. Flex the feet strongly and squeeze the legs together as if you only had one leg. Hands back behind you to help you find your 5 full moons. You're going to keep the left leg in this nice extended dynamic pose and then bend the right knee. Stand down on the right foot. So as the heel goes down, the crown goes up. Sit tall. Use the hands to draw the heart toward the knee. Elbows in and down. Sit tall. And inhale to stretch the left arm up. And exhale, reach forward, lean forward, and wrap the arm around the shin. So if you hook the elbow, but then you can't sit up again, use the forearm, wrist, or hand. Whatever part of the arm you use is inconsequential, but you must be able to sit up tall. Going to come into another twist, and twisting is compressing by its nature. So you really want to think about your first priority being to ascend through the crown. Don't let the left leg wither. And stretch the right arm forward, sit tall, and as you exhale, slowly trace the horizon with the hand and the gaze. So not going to your maximum, just turning and reaching, and then release the hand down. Walk it in, and turn the fingers to point back behind you to find your right upper chest full moon. So the right arm is acting like a second spine to help you sit very tall. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, draw the right low belly back. Inhale, rise up, rib cage floating out of the anchor of the pelvis. And as you exhale, spin the left back ribs forward. Good. One more nice deep breath. And as you exhale, take that right shoulder back and maybe gaze over the right shoulder. It is a real phenomenon that for some people to gaze over the back shoulder puts too much pressure on the carotid artery and you start to feel lightheaded. So don't do that. Look over your left shoulder. Either way, the neck will get a nice twist. Breathe. The deep inhalation might pull you out of a twist. That's okay. Let it happen. And then as you exhale, soften into the twist. One more deep breath. And then stretching the right arm back and exhaling to slowly unwind. And then extend the right leg to meet the left leg, leaning back on your hands. Squeeze the legs together, flex the feet strongly. 5 full moons. Drop the tail. The tail is heavy and the heart is light. Keep the right leg in this dynamic shape and then bend the left knee. Draw the heel in as tight as you can comfortably manage. Down in the left heel to rise up in the crown. Use the hands to draw the heart toward the knee, elbows in and down. As the elbows go in, the collarbones go out. And as the elbows go down, the sternum goes up. Inhale to sweep that right arm up. And exhale, reach forward, lean forward, wrap the arm around the shin, and then sit tall again. Inhale to stretch the left arm forward. And as you exhale, slowly trace the horizon with the hand and the gaze. Just turning a comfortable amount, reaching back, and then lower the hand. Walk the hand in and turn the fingers to point back behind you to find your left upper chest full moon. Don't let the right leg wither, pressing down in the left heel. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, draw the left low belly back. Inhale, rising up through the crown, and exhale the right back ribs forward. Inhale, ascending. Exhale, left shoulder back, gaze over the left shoulder or the right shoulder, but don't look down, look to the horizon. Keep ascending through the crown, tall spine. Deep, slow, steady, easy breath. The inhale may pull you out of the twist. Let that happen. Gaining entry not by force or will, but by softening. One more deep breath. And then stretching that left arm back again and slowly exhaling to unwind. Good. Bending both knees, find a comfortable position, and then use the hands to support yourself to lie back down. Oh, keep the knees bent. Lift the hips up just enough to walk the hands in. So you might interlace the fingers to walk the shoulder blades in, get the hands in, and then press the palms down and sit on your forearms. sit on your forearms. So the elbows have got to be able to come in order to be able to sit on your forearms. So you work toward that. Drawing the elbows in by expanding across the collarbones tremendously and gently tucking shoulder blades in and down. So there'll be a tremendous buoyancy to the heart here. And if you can sit back on your forearms, then one at a time, extending the legs. Flex the feet strongly. Press the elbows and forearms and hands down, and then lift the chest. Lift from the sternum and gently deliver the head back down. So the crown of the head barely comes to rest on the earth. Squeeze the legs together. Flex the feet strongly. Sink the thighs down for Matsyasana or fish pose. So let your heart grow lighter and lighter and lighter. So you can witness that while I'm in this shape, I can still speak and swallow and breathe. I'm not hardening the throat. Take another deep breath. This is important. When you come out, lift from the sternum, keep the head back, and then gently tuck the chin and extend the spine to come down, bending the knees one at a time, planting the feet, pause. If your elbows are screaming at you and you need to come out, then by all means come out. If you can stay sitting on your forearms, stay sitting on your forearms. You may be able to lift the hips and walk the arms even further in now. Palms down. Elbows in. Spread across the collarbone, and the outer upper shoulders grow heavy. And one at a time, extending one leg, then the other. Flex the feet, squeeze the legs together. Press down in the legs, the hands, the elbows, and the forearms, and inhale to lift the sternum. One more time, gently let the head loll back, barely resting any weight at all on the crown of the head. The weight is on the legs, the hips, and the forearms. If it's coming along, you might be able to lift one leg just a little bit, and then the other, but the hips are heavy, heavy, heavy. Scooping the tail under. Maybe both legs lift. Without clenching the jaw or holding the breath. So the answer could be no. And then lowering down, remain composed. You want to remain composed, particularly as you release the pose. So squeezing legs, pressing down, lift the heart, keep the head lulling back, and then gently tuck the chin and lengthen the back of the body down, and bend one leg and then the other, and lift the hips and release the arms and pause. Take a moment to feel what you feel. That nice heart opener, a gentle back bend. So lining up the feet so that they're more or less in line with your buttock bones. If you're not sure, you can touch your buttock bones and then see where your feet are. Keep the left leg right where it is and let the right knee float in and grab on. You can hold on behind the thigh or in front of the shin. Hold on with just the left hand and take the right thumb into the crease of the hip and draw the outer hip away from the armpit, down toward the earth, down toward the wall in front of you, down and down, so that the right waist stays nice and long. And then point the toes and flex the foot. Go back and forth. Keep that left foot planted firmly on the earth. And the next time you flex the foot, we'll pause. Slide the left hand down the shin. Identify your right outer ankle bone and put that somewhere beyond the left thigh. Keep this foot flexed. Avoid any pressure in the inner knee. Make it easier by walking the left foot further away. And then conversely, looking for a stretch for the outer right hip, you might place the left foot on a block or use the hands to gently guide that thigh in, holding on behind the thigh, easier than holding on in front of the shin. But slowly grow the pose. Notice the moment that you get to your edge, pausing at the soft edge so that the body doesn't perceive you as a threat to yourself. And then the body will soften and allow deeper entry. And then you find your real edge, right? The place where the body just cannot go any further. And you pause there. And notice what would happen if you shifted the weight ever so slightly over toward the left. Well, maybe you see what you were avoiding. And you might be avoiding that for a really good reason or just out of habit. So we want to find our optimum shape. So if you've just created a massive ball of tension in your right hip and you're holding on and gritting your teeth and waiting for Jennifer to say it's time to come out, it is time to come out. Your body is telling you. And your body does not lie. So if you lose the ability to keep the jaw soft, the eyes wide, and the breath flowing freely, then you're in too deep. And then you have to surrender your ego and back off. Maybe just a little bit or maybe a lot. So this is the shape that we tend to hold for a longer period of time. The buttock muscles are some of the strongest muscles in the body. And then the hip joint has a tremendous amount of connective tissue, which is great. We need that for stability as we stand on 2 feet and make our way through the world. But connective tissue and strong muscles take time to release in transition. So you want to work slowly and sensitively. Noticing the effects of a slow, steady, deep inhalation. What does it feel like to inhale deeply in this position? And what does it feel like to exhale completely in this position? And as you exhale, ask yourself, can you do less? Is there anywhere where you might be able to relax or soften? The dynamic energy of this shape is in the right ankle flex. Everything else can relax. One more nice deep breath. Sigh it out. And slowly, gently release the left foot to the floor if it's not already. And release the right foot to the floor. And pause. Just take a moment to feel what you feel as a result of that posture practice. How you come out of the pose tells you so much about how you were in the pose. So if you come out with some great gasp of relief, then you were in too deep. Keeping the right foot planted, let the left leg float in. Just let the left leg float in of its own, and then use the hands gently. Hold on. Hold on with just the right hand, the left thumb in the crease of the hip, drawing the hip down toward the earth and forward toward the wall in front of you, toward the short end of your yoga mat. So the left waist nice and long. Good. And then both hands holding on. Point the toes, flex the foot, go back and forth. So you may be holding on behind the thigh or in front of the shin. Either way, it doesn't matter. The next time you flex the foot, pause. Slide the right hand down the shin. Identify your left ankle bone, and you want that to go to the outside of the right thigh bone. If you place it on the thigh bone, then you're going to crush your quadricep muscle between the two bones, and that's not going to feel good. And if you go to the inside, then the temptation is for the ankle to sickle, and you overstretch the outer ankle. So keep the foot flexed to protect the inner knee, and take the ankle bone to the outside of the thigh bone. Notice what you feel. So there's external rotation of that left thigh bone. And then maybe you can place the right foot on a block. The more you bring the shin this toward this, the more demand there is for release as the shin comes toward the chest. Go slowly, holding on behind the thigh, easier than holding on in front of the shin. And then notice your back body, right? Have you twisted and torqued in order to come up? And can you come up with the back body relaxing evenly on the earth? And then identify your optimum shape. Optimum, not maximum. Even the slightest refinement can make a world of difference. So the dynamic energy is the right or the left foot flex, everything else off. And breathe, maybe even smile, soften. And then again, notice what happens if ever so slightly you shift to the right. And back. And somewhere in there is going to be a balanced state and a nice juicy stretch for the left hip. Not too much and not too little. Just right, like Goldilocks. And knowing that we're going to sustain this shape for a while, be sure that you have found a perfectly comfortable optimum shape, not maximum. The tension that you feel, the resistance that you feel is you resisting you going into this shape. So find a gentle resistance so you can breathe. And then softness may come over time, gradually, one breath and then the other. Nice and easy. One more nice deep breath. Sigh it out. And gently release the right foot to the floor if it's not already, and pause. And then release the left foot to the floor and pause. So find your block and take the block on its low height and put it in between your feet so that the length of the block is along the inner edges of your feet to intelligize this part of your body so that the inner edges of the feet are parallel and the feet are on the same line. So you don't want one foot forward of the other. And then you want to hold the block. So the practice of yoga is to know yourself intimately and to accept the consequences of being yourself. So come to know whether your tendency is to evert or roll to the outer edges of your feet or invert and sort of collapse into your arch. And the block is there to inform you, right? If your ankles are squeezing the block immediately, then that's an indication that you're probably an inverter. And if you have to go find the block with the ankles, then that's probably an indicator that you tend to be an evert. So what would it take to balance the weight evenly across the mounds of every toe and the center of the heel. And then keep that information that the block gives you, feedback, but take the block now between your knees in the same shape. So even though you don't have the block between the feet, go back to what you learned in the position of the feet when you had the feedback from the block, and now the block is informing the knees. So if you tend to be an inverter, the knees will want to knock toward one another. And if you tend to be an everter, the knees will want to draw away. So what does it take to get the thighs like free flowing rivers of energy right out of the pelvis, nice and neutral? Walk the arms down toward the feet as you tuck the shoulder blades in, lengthening the back of the neck, and the heart becomes buoyant. Walking, walking, tucking shoulder blades in. So there's an arch to the back. The lower back is lifting up off of the earth. Hold that block between your knees. Don't crush it, but don't let it fall. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, scoop the hips, scoop the tail under, lift the hips, lift from the backs of the thighs, lift from the buttocks. So the abdomen is passive and receding. Walk the arms down, shoulders in, shoulder blades in. So expand across the collarbones and press down in your outer upper shoulders. Press down in your hands, particularly the inner wrist, and press down in your feet. Soften the jaw and the eyes and breathe. So you don't have to lift to some maximum amount of height. Just find your comfortable height and lengthen the tail toward the space between the knees. Sustain the lift in the hips, and as you inhale, take the arms up. And as you exhale, let the backs of the hands find the earth somewhere overhead. Pause. Inhale, lift the arms up, and exhale, let the palms float back down by your feet, and then slowly lower the hips down. Put the block to the side. Have it where you can reach it easily. As you inhale, tilt the pelvis, drop the tail, arch the low back, let the belly fill. And as you exhale, scoop the tail under, press the low back down, navel toward the spine. Inhale, tilting. Try to keep the legs stable. Exhale, tucking. So not lifting the hips yet, just rocking back and forth across the sacrum. The sacrum is that triangular bone at the base of the back of the pelvis. Good. And now on the next exhalation, scoop the tail under, lift the hips, sustain. Inhale, take the arms up overhead. Exhale, lower the hips and the hands. Inhale, lift the hips and the arms. Exhale, lower the hips and the hands. Come in and out. Maybe on every breath or maybe on every other breath, whatever is in your best interest. Not too much and not too little. The next time that you lift the hips and take the arms overhead, will sustain if it's reasonable. If this is a challenging shape for you, just keep coming in and out. Press down in the outer upper shoulders, down in the backs of the hands, down in the feet. Lift the hips, let the sacrum be absorbed into the pelvis. Lifting from the buttocks and the hamstrings, not the low back. Scoop the tail under. One more breath, and exhale, lower the hands and the hips down, and pause. So one more time, you're going to lift the hips up, use your block, find your fullest expression of your bridge pose, or Setu Bandhasana, and the height of the block that barely fits under your hips. So I can easily get the mid height of the block, but the high height barely fits, so I have to lift the heels to get the hips higher. And then you decide if it's in your best interest, based on what you feel, to have the block going side to side or top to bottom. And then once you have placed that block, soften down onto the block. So the tendency when we give ourselves a prop is we hover up over the prop. I want you to soften, let the full weight of your body at the center of gravity, come down onto that block and rest completely. Let the kidneys sink back down to the earth. And then you decide if the hands are down, maybe out in T position, or up overhead. Whatever position you choose for your arms, it's going to have some effect in what you feel in your neck. So again, not looking for maximum, but optimum, a comfortable position with a little bit of resistance. Let the sternum grow buoyant. Let the abdomen recede and the buttocks soften. Notice what it feels like to inhale deeply in this position. Where is the tension? Where is the resistance? Breathe into that. If there's a big, strong pinch in your low back and it's compromising your breath, that's your psoas not releasing. So it is in your best interest to go a little lower. One more nice deep breath here. Sigh it out. Inhale, stretch the arms up, and exhale as they land down. Inhale, lift the hips, take the block away, and slowly lower yourself down one vertebra at a time, nice and easy. So the 5 lumbar vertebrae come down before the sacrum. Pause. And then gently let the legs flow up. Keep the tail down, keep the buttocks heavy. So not curling in and up, but like the car crusher coming down on the shins to close the gap between the upper thigh and the low belly. And watch the tendency to cross one foot over or have one foot forward of the other and see what it would take to align the inner edges of the feet. And then a gentle rocking side to side. Knees together or knees wide, yoga's choice. Relax. And let this rocking be gentle and comfortable, a little massage across the low back and upper hips. Relax the abdomen. Let the arms do the work of holding the legs in. Let's soften the shoulders and the chest and the neck. And the next time that you come up from the right, we'll pause. Take a deep breath in as you exhale. Tuck the chin, lift the back of the head. Take another deep breath, and any amount, continue to curl up, forehead toward the knees. Deep breath in and exhale, knees toward the forehead. So the tightest ball that you can comfortably manage. If the tension in the throat is immediate, just lower the head back down and come in and out rather than sustaining. One more deep breath, and then slowly releasing everything down. Release the feet to the floor and roll to one side. Doesn't matter which side. And then keep going until you're on your belly. So coming onto your belly, resting on your stacked palms, resting your forehead there. Squeeze the legs together. Press the tops of the feet down into the earth and press the pubic bone down. Lengthen the tail toward the heels. Lift in the inner thighs. So the outer thighs and outer hips grow heavy as the inner thighs lift. So the buttocks is not clenching. Inhale to stretch the left leg back and take it up just a little bit to reach it further. Lower it down. And then the right leg, reach back slightly up elongating. One more time each leg. Keep the legs long, and then release the hands from behind the head and slide the hands down the side of the body until the heel of the hand is in line with your floating ribs. And if you don't know where your floating ribs are, go find them with your hand and then align the heel of the hand there as best you can. This takes a lot of flexibility in the wrist, so you may have to keep your hands a little further forward. Elbows in and down toward the feet. See what that does for your collarbones and your shoulders. Keep the neck neutral. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, pressing down in the feet, down in the pubic bone, down in the hands, and inhale, let the heart float up for Bhujangasana, Cobra pose. So I'm not leading with my chin. The neck comes up as a natural extension. Reach the legs back, press the feet down, and don't concern yourself with how high you come. 3 breaths. And exhale, slowly lower down. Keep your hands right where they are. Elbows in and back toward the feet. Press the pubic bone down. Don't lose that foundation. One more deep breath in. Sigh it out. And on the next inhale, pressing down in the hands, the pubic bone, and the feet, let the heart float up. Any amount. Breathe. We're going to stay for 5. Slow, steady, deep breath. When you've had 5, slowly lower down. Keep the shape. Relax. Don't collapse into a heap, but relax. Then engaging the legs once more, pressing the pubic bone down, lengthen the tail toward the feet. Press the hands down, elbows in and back one more time, inhaling to lift the heart. You may find that you have enough strength in the back body to stretch the arms across the horizon, or sweep the arms back and interlace your fingers in Yoga Mudra. Heart opener. Stretch your heart forward, not your chin, but your heart. One more deep breath. Sigh it out slowly with control. Come down, and once again, rest your forehead on your stacked palm. Resist the temptation to wiggle or shake. Sit with that pranic energy. Sit with the sensation that may feel like tremendous tension in the low back. That's okay. Breathe into your belly. Nothing remains the same for very long. Let your body absorb that energy, building a container strong enough to withstand strong pranic energy. Strengthening the nervous system. Re-engage the low body once more, squeezing the legs together. Press the pubic bone down, press the tops of the feet down, lift the inner thighs, lengthen the legs, and then pressing down in the palms and down in the elbows and the forearms, lifting up. Lift the heart and the head. And then again, maybe you can extend the arms. Maybe you can reach the arms back and interlace in your non-habitual way. Stretch your heart forward. You reach your legs back. You may be able to lift one leg and then the other or both. But lifting from the inner thighs. Find your optimum shape. Navasana, both pose. Breathe. And when you feel as though you can no longer sustain the integrity of the shape, then gently and with control, come on down. Relax completely. Stay with yourself through the relaxation phase. Bringing your hands underneath your shoulders, elbows in and back once more. Begin to let the hips grow light. Lift the hips and the shoulders more or less at the same rate to come into your table pose. Bring the big toes to touch and the knees wide. Take the knees as wide as you can comfortably manage. Shift the hips back toward the heels. In reality, your hips may not go back if your knees can't flex strongly. So you find your optimum shape. This is all general. And then come forward. Maybe onto elbows, forearms. You happen to have a bolster handy or your blocks, you can lengthen or you can extend the blocks end to end to let the torso rest somewhere. Let the forehead rest somewhere. If the head is supported, only if the head is supported and you feel comfortable, you might take the arms back behind you, resting them on the kidney band, maybe hold the opposite wrist, forearm, or elbow, but only if the head is supported. Find your breath and settle down. Soften the inner thighs, soften the throat. Relax the shoulders. Make sure that your head and neck are comfortable. Just a few more breaths here. And releasing the hands if they're wrapped up behind you. Keep your knees wide and your toes together, but begin to press yourself up. And then lift the hips away from the heels enough that you can turn the toes under. So the big toes are toward one another, maybe touching. And then lift the knees, coming into a wide squat. So big toes toward one another. They may or may not be touching, but the feet are in and the knees are wide. And the torso and the arms are coming down in between the legs, and the forearms grow heavy as the head grows heavy and the hips grow heavy. Support yourself however is reasonable. If you feel unstable on your feet and the heels are lifted, then you can fill the gap between the heels and the earth with your block or your blanket or your pillow and give your heels somewhere to rest. If you feel like you're going to fall forward onto the crown of your head, use the arms to hold you up, lift the torso up just a bit more. Do the needful for your body, so that you find a shape where you can soften. That's the name of the game. Soften. It's one of the reasons why yoga is so challenging for us, because we always want to be doing, trying. It's not about the doing, it's about the letting go. Letting go of any goals or expectations, letting go of resistance, ideas, ideals. Letting go of this sense that we are in control. When your body tells you that it is time to release the pose, trust that the body is telling you the truth, regardless of whether or not I lead you out. If your body is saying, I can't sustain this shape any longer without struggle, then listen to that and find your own path of least resistance. Come on out. And at any point now, will all come out. And lowering the knees down, bring them back in. And lift the hips up into table pose. And from your table pose, inhaling to lift the tail, drop the belly, draw the heart forward, gaze upward. And exhale to scoop the tail under, draw the belly in and up, the heart recedes, the chin comes to the chest. Inhale, tilting the pelvis, drop the belly, draw the heart forward, gaze up. Exhale, scoop the tail under, draw the belly in and up, heart recedes, chin to the chest. One more time. Ride the wave of the breath along the length of the spine, starting at the pelvis. And then find a neutral spine. Take the feet to one side, the hips to the other side, and sweep the legs forward. Bend your knees, use your hands to support yourself as you slowly release down to the floor. Keep the knees bent to begin with. Use the hands to lengthen the back of the neck, tucking the chin ever so slightly, maybe a pillow behind your head. If you find that your chin is jutting up toward the sky, then you definitely would benefit from a pillow behind the head so that the chin can drop without hardening the throat. And then the arms, T position is 90 degrees away from the body. Touching the body is 0. So in between is 45. Tuck the shoulder blades in and down, the palms face upward in a receiving gesture. Just for a moment, try this. Curl the fingers in toward your palm softly, extending the thumb. Press the thumbs down and lift the backs of the hands so you're on the thumb point, spiraling the upper arm. Lifting the inner arm up toward the outer arm. The outer upper shoulders get heavy. And then slowly and gently releasing back down so that the weight is more on the first knuckle than the others. And then lift the hips just enough to scoop the tail under, and one at a time extend the legs. So slowly release the legs evenly and completely. Let the thighs roll out as the tail extends toward the heel. So this is the shape of Shavasana, the most important pose. But by many accounts, Shavasana is also the most difficult pose. It's not to just collapse into a heap and let your brain run wild and your mind take over. Shavasana is where we really get to practice yoga, uniting the mind, the body, the breath, and the spirit. So we let the body rest after working in our posture practice. Let the breath return to its natural and organic rhythm, trusting that the body is breathing itself perfectly. And then notice the mind. Not trying to control the mind, but not letting the mind control us. The mind produces thoughts, just like the mouth produces saliva. So when you notice that you're thinking you haven't done anything wrong, you just want to draw your attention back to the field of sensation that is your body. Field of sensation that is your breath. And turning your attention in particular to the exhalation and the invitation to soften and settle. And as you exhale at the eyes, slowly, gradually sink into the surface, softening the muscles around the orbit. Relax the temple. Awareness of the fullness of the lips touching, and as you exhale, separate the teeth. Relax the tongue and let it slide to the back of the throat. And as you exhale, soften the air walls of the throat. Let the throat widen to occupy the whole neck. And as you exhale, let the whole front body deflate and receive and spread beneath the back body. Noticing each breath. Each exhalation is an invitation to soften and let go. Again and again. A deep breath in, sigh it out. Occasionally a little smile come to your face, lifting the corners of the eyes and mouth. When the spirit moves you to move the body, start at the periphery, fingers and toes, going so slowly that an onlooker would barely notice any movement at all. Very gently growing the movement, finding your own path, progressing at your own pace. Taking the time to invite more and more movement back into the body parts. And when you feel as though you have moved all of the body parts gently back to awake, and pause. Take a deep breath in and a big whole body stretch, even if you have to fake the yawn. And settle down and notice the quality of rest that comes. When you're ready, one at a time, bend the knees and plant the feet. Go slowly. Extend the right arm comfortably overhead and roll all the way over onto the right side, supporting the head and neck with the arm or hand. Keep the knees drawn in. Commit to rolling all the way over into the fetal position. And when you feel as though you have rested here for an adequate amount of time, keep the knees drawn in. Turn the head and the gaze and the heart to the earth even more. Use the strength of the left arm to get the right arm under you, and then press yourself up with the strength of your arms. Bent knees and the head comes last. And reestablish a comfortable seat. Noticing what it is to sit down, and what it is to sit up. And do both with equal measure. Bringing the hands together in prayer position in front of the heart once more. Exhale the base of the thumb to the base of the sternum, and inhale, lift the sternum. Gently press the fingers to the sternum, tapping into the seat of your divine light, the deep well of your heart. And spread your fingers wide, allowing your sweet light to shine out into the world. Please do the world a favor and let your light shine. In celebration of our light, each one of us as individuals and collectively as an incredible community will join our voices in a resounding chant of Om. Take a deep breath in and sigh it out, and then inhale to chant. Hari Om, Shanti, peace, Shalom, Salam, with deep gratitude and deep respect. Namaste. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Thank you for sharing your practice with